It's the Eagle Community Television Forum with your host, Gary Shorman.
Welcome to our Forum program here on Eagle Community Television. I'm Gary Shorman. Our program is brought to you by Hayes Med. Our guest today is Jody Sproul, and Jody is the Executive Director of the Smoky Foundation for Chemical Dependency. That covers a wide area, Jody, so I know we won't talk about all of that today, but we really want to talk about an area that you've been working on that has to do with fake IDs. And when we came into this, you and I were talking about how maybe it used to be a lot easier to make fake IDs than it is today, but it's a bigger picture than that. What is the Fake ID program?
Well, the Fake ID 101 project is actually beginning this month. It will be a 6-month project running through June with the possibility of continuation after the fact. But initially, the project is two-pronged approach. We have an educational awareness component where the Regional Prevention Center will provide posters, media, educating the general public about fake IDs. And then the second component is law enforcement. We'll be doing some of those compliance checks, saturation patrols, bar checks to make sure that fake IDs are not being utilized. And as you indicated, Gary, years prior, fake IDs, actually producing them was a big issue, but due to all of the new security features built into our state-issued driver's license, fakes are not necessarily the problem. A lot of things we're seeing nowadays is the borrowed IDs, whether it be from an older sibling, a cousin that somebody looks familiar to, is borrowing somebody else's ID, and that's still considered to be a fake.
Okay, what's behind this program?
Well, this is actually a project that has been implemented in some of the other communities across Kansas that have 4-year universities. It's been in Lawrence and Manhattan and Wichita for a couple years, and it's being expanded to Hayes because we are a 4-year university community. It is sponsored by the Kansas Safety Traffic Resource Office and KDOT. And so basically, like I said, it's just creating awareness about fake IDs and then following up with that enforcement component to kind of eliminate, obviously, underage access to alcohol products.
You mentioned 4-year universities. Is that where the focus is, or does this take place in other parts as well, but the focus has just been the universities because of that under 21 group that ends up at university and ends up at university parties and bars and et cetera?
Right. Obviously that will be a focus, but it's going to be more so citywide, countywide. We're going to focus a lot of the education on all licensees, all liquor licensees within the county. So any establishment, whether it's a bar, a restaurant, a convenience store, anybody selling beer, we're going to provide them with education and awareness. And then the law enforcement is going to follow up and work hand in hand with those establishments to either do bar checks, compliance checks, surveillance, to ensure that those fake IDs are not being used.
Now let me ask that, every once in a while you'll go and I'm past where people ID me for the most part, but you go into places and some of them have a requirement, no matter how old you are, they want an ID, which seems somewhat silly at times. What are the requirements that, say, a bar owner or a liquor store owner would have as far as the rules for requiring an ID of any sort?
Well, obviously to purchase, anything like tobacco products or liquor products, you need to have an ID, a driver's license, something with a photo on it. And typically what we encourage those licensees to do is if anybody appears to be under the age of 27 is to ask for the ID. Present the ID, and we also ask retailers to have them pull the ID out of their wallet or out of their billfold so that you can actually get your hands on it and feel it and look for some of those security features built into the ID and actually make sure that it's the person standing in front of you. With the new IDs, we have those Insta-checks on them. Mm-hmm. For minors, they have the vertical ID and the green bar that says not 18 until this date or not 21 until this date. So it's really easy to obviously not make an illegal sale, but if you're aware of some of those security features built in, then you're able to identify whether it's a fake or a borrowed ID because it's not the person that's actually standing in front of you.
One of the things I know, and you see that in the community, maybe where more people know more people, is that maybe that gets overlooked. And I know there's some penalties really on both sides for doing that. Are you pointing that out to what those penalties are?
Well, yes, we are. One of the other components in our education and awareness is that we will be offering training to our licensees and their employees, whether it's wait staff, cashiers, clerks, bartenders, responsible beverage service sales training, in which we bring in an alcohol beverage control agent who kind of reviews all the legalities behind it, making illegal sales, making illegal purchases, and then reviews the security features within the IDs and then how to spot fake IDs. So there are fines for store personnel that make an illegal sale. I believe it's a $250 fine for the person who actually makes the sale, and then a $1,000 fine for the person that holds the license for the establishment. And then if the individual is using a fake ID, a borrowed ID, an altered ID of any kind, they can have fines of up to $2,500 plus jail time.
So it's a serious offense.
Yes.
You know, obviously it's illegal anyway if you're having a fake ID that you're doing, so it's illegal, but it is a costly offense if it gets caught. And I see what you're working on is really trying to shine the light on that. Who are the partners do you have? Because I don't think your guys are trying to do this all by yourself.
No, we could not do by ourselves. The law enforcement partners that we do have on board is the Hays Police Department, the Fort Hays State Campus Police, and Alcoholic Beverage Control for here in Ellis County. Then there's also the Regional Prevention Center, who's part of the education and awareness, and then the everyday the EPIC Coalition, the Everyday
Okay.
Prevention and Communities
I
Coalition.
can see why you had trouble with that one. Yeah.
They had
What
a
is
recent
that? What
name
is that?
change.
Yeah, they did.
They're formerly the Ellis County Community Partnership, and now they're the EPIC Coalition, and they're just a local group of concerned citizens that meet on a regular basis to provide some prevention programming and services.
Well, I know some of that group also ties in with just, I guess, the mindset that underage drinking is okay. And there's a group that say, you know, that's part of our history here and you can do that. And I know that's one of the things that this points out in being able to do this is that the drinking aspect underage is wrong and it's illegal. And putting the light on it is saying, hey, how can we do a better job there? What else will this cover? You mentioned Fort Hays State University and the police department. How are they going to be involved with this?
Well, the campus police will be assisting the Hays PD and ABC agents when they're going out and doing those compliance checks to ensure that, you know, establishments are checking IDs accurately, and if they are coming across a fake ID, that they're taking care of that. They will also be helping do bar checks, bar walkthroughs, you know, just kind of keeping an eye on everything, doing surveillance, doing cops and shops, working side by side with clerks. Kind of as an employee undercover, but helping them check IDs and go through those processes as well. Last semester, we actually had a Fort Hays State Leadership Project kind of oversee this project initially, and they did a lot of education awareness on campus. They did some marketing, and they did orientation sessions for several freshman classes, making them aware of this project. And I know that they're trying to get something moving along the means of technology and getting fake ID websites blocked with Fort Hays State internet access.
We're going to come back and talk about that because I would say not as a casual attitude about it. We'll talk about some of the posters, some of the training, some of that Fort Hays State University training you're doing as well for college students and those that are underage. Our guest is Jody Sproul, and she is the Executive Director of Smoky Hill Foundation. We'll be back with more after this.
Youthful body, tight tummy, smooth facial lines. Greystone Cosmetic and Reconstructive Surgery is here to help you achieve your goals and give yourself the new look you've always wanted. Greystone offers sophisticated surgical and non-surgical cosmetic procedures. With services now available locally, there's no need to wait any longer. Contact Greystone Cosmetic and Reconstructive Surgery at Hays Medical Center today or online at greystonecosmetic.haysmed.com.
It's a beautiful day in our super high-speed internet great customer service neighborhood. Like you, this is where we live. In fact, our company is employee-owned, so it's our goal to improve the quality of life for everyone in our community by delivering faster, more reliable internet, clearer, more feature-laden phone service, and tons of high-definition TV channels, all with a level of customer service and value you'd expect from people who are your neighbors. Eagle Communications, our community connected.
Welcome back to the second half of our program where we're talking about fake IDs. If you have any questions or comments, give me a call at 785-625-4000. You can find me at my office there, or send me a note. It's gary.shorman@eaglecom.net. You can also go online if you're on Facebook and be our friend under the ECTV form. Our guest, Jody Sproul, and she's the Executive Director of the Smoky Hill Foundation. And Jody, you have some great, I say there's a poster and then kind of an ID sheet here. First off, we'll hold up this one, and this is a fake ID that's a Kansas driver's license. But you can tell obviously in this ID that the little mustache on there probably isn't going to work. But I'm assuming kids can go online and find a fake ID just by going online to order one. Is that right?
Yeah, you can pretty much punch in, fake ID, and a list of websites will come up where you can make those purchases. Actually, when you get the ID, obviously it's a fake, and it indicates on there on the back or somewhere in small print that this is a novelty item, not a legal form of identification. But if a clerk or somebody isn't looking for that and flipping the ID over, then they may have difficulty identifying that as well.
And it's not casual in attitude, but it seems like it's one of those things. Once you hear college kids talk about it, and it's like they all try to find a fake ID. Who doesn't have a fake ID? And I guess you're pointing out, no matter what, whether it's cool or not, it's still very illegal.
It is very illegal. And I also want to indicate, just having a fake ID is not what this project is all about. It's also about altering any type of identification or borrowing somebody else's identification where you're impersonating somebody else to either possess or purchase alcohol products. And that is just as illegal when you're borrowing an older brother, older sister, cousin's ID, or using one of their expired IDs. That's illegal activity as well.
How prevalent is this, Jody?
Borrowed IDs are pretty prevalent. I couldn't give you specific numbers wise or anything like that. I'm not in law enforcement. The actual fake IDs that people purchase aren't as prevalent as, say, borrowed IDs being issued and used.
Here's another poster someone may see as they're looking up here and walking around. Will these be in stores and businesses all over? Or
Yes.
Where will you put these?
These are fresh off from the printers, and so we will be delivering them to all of our restaurants, bars, liquor establishments in the town, in Hayes, Ellis, and Victoria, and posting them on windows and doors. We will also have sandwich boards available to set outside agents or businesses that are heavily trafficked by the 18 to 20-year-old population, some of the bars. So they'll set those outside their establishments. That'll have the same information as well.
Now, you mentioned the police department. Brian Dawson has been involved, and you have the police department. Will they be involved same way as the Fort Hays State Police, or are they taking some additional steps as well?
Yes, all of the law enforcement components that I mentioned earlier, ABC, Hays PD, and Fort Hays Campus Police, they will have a certain number of officers helping throughout this project's time period to do enforcement operations. Now they're not going to, hold a press conference and indicate when those enforcement operations are going to be occurring, but we will do some publicity afterwards to let the community know, if they discovered how many fake IDs or what charges were issued or things like that. But yeah, they will be out there. They're doing enforcement operations as well.
And this focus is going on for the next 6 months as
Yes.
far as the focus period here.
It is.
Jody, I want to thank you for being here. You're also, as Executive Director of Smoky Hill Foundation, you deal with a lot of chemical dependencies and other things as well when you're through that process. This is kind of just a little part of what you do there, isn't it?
Yes, we are a small agency, but we offer a lot of services. We have our treatment component, in which we offer outpatient substance abuse disorder treatment. And then we have our prevention component, and this is where the Fake ID project falls under.
We appreciate all the work you're doing. Thanks for sharing it with us today. And if people want more information, where can they go to find out some more, other than looking at the poster at the store where they shop?
They can contact me at the Smoky Hill Foundation Regional Prevention Center at 625-5521.
Very good. Jody, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Jody Sproul has been our guest. She's the Executive Director of the Smoky Hill Foundation. Thanks for watching the forum. It's brought to you by Hayes Med and by Eagle Communication, our community connected.
Youthful body, tight tummy, smooth facial lines. Greystone Cosmetic and Reconstructive Surgery is here to help you achieve your goals and give yourself the new look you've always wanted. Greystone offers sophisticated surgical and non-surgical cosmetic procedures. With services now available locally, there's no need to wait any longer. Contact Greystone Cosmetic and Reconstructive Surgery at Hayes Medical Center today or online at greystonecosmetic.hayesmed.com.